every curves and remember to brake earlier.
Hello and welcome, you join me, ADG, and here we are for my very first race, or league race should I say, on Seca Competizione. I've joined the NxtGen Racing's GT4 Ginetta League, so we're all in the GT4 Ginetta, and yeah, this was my very first race. So I recorded this on Monday night. We raced at 8 o'clock and we had two 25-minute races around Laguna, Seca in the rain. This was the first race. So I qualified in 7th position, not the best. I felt like I messed up my fastest lap, which was going to be the last lap just before the checkered in the qualifying session. So I got 7th, I could have possibly got 5th maybe, I'm not sure where I could have got, but anyway, I had to make do with 7th in the end. And yeah, I recorded this on Monday night. This isn't live commentary, by the way, this is over a recording. So yeah, I am going to jump in and watch this, give it a little bit of commentary, and yeah, reflect back on my first race in ACC. I was quite nervous about the whole thing, because one, because of Laguna Seca and the corkscrew. Two, I've never driven, well, I did quite a lot of practice, but up until the point I started driving it for practicing, I'd never driven this car. And 3, it's raining, so I wasn't particularly full of confidence heading into this first race. So just waiting for the rolling start to get underway. Go through what, 5-6 corners under the rolling start formation, and then we go down the start finish straight, and away we go.
Stay double file.
So there is setup on in this championship. You can do setup as much as possible. I did delve into the setup a little bit, I didn't go too deep into it. Changed a few little things, tweaked a few little things, probably a better word for it, and seemed to get some kind of improvement of performance out of it, which was good. Meant I could just drive it a little bit more consistently, not necessarily more aggressively, but a bit more consistently. So I've done this video in a slightly different way as well, so hopefully it isn't as long for you guys and not quite as tedious if you do want to watch it all the way through. So trying to get some kind of temperature into the brakes, just accelerating, braking. Still cold at the moment, but I won't stay like that for long, especially after braking into T1. So coming through the last corner now at Laguna, tight left-hander. Try and get some kind of decent position ready for this rolling start now. I could have left myself a little bit too far back, but we were away. I managed to jump the two guys that were at the side of me, got a better start than those two. Head down the inside line into the first corner at Laguna. I just wanted to go the inside, even though I could have possibly dived to the outside and taken the wide line, but there was no point. Guy on the right hand side of me just makes a little bit of contact with me as he gets a little bit of oversteer on the exit. Pushes me wide, and then there's an early braking car in front, so I dive back down the inside, get a position. Get a good run out of here as well now in 4th gear, so I started in 7th, I'm still in 7th at the moment. Me and the white car in front going a little bit deep into there, and both having to gather it up and wait for the understeer to queue up. Incredibly dangerous corner to go through that one. The guy in front goes a little bit wide. It just looks like he had a little moment of oversteer or a little correction to make, and it sent him over to the left hand side of the track, and that was it, he was off. He had to lift out to gather it all back up and just allow me to drive through. So his first lap working out quite nicely so far. Now in 6th position. Just trying to get into some kind of rhythm on this wet weather as well. Get this first lap over and done with, and then try and find some kind of nice pace and rhythm to go with it. Oh, so spinner up front. I remember thinking at the time I could have avoided that, but I wasn't looking far enough ahead, so I didn't see it early enough. If I'd have seen it a little bit earlier, been looking that little bit further through, I'd have seen it that bit earlier to avoid, basically. So I made a little bit of contact on the spinner from ahead, but I have actually just gained 2 places. So I've gained one from the guy who just spun, and I've gained one from someone else who had a little issue getting past him or had some contact with him, possibly the reason why that guy has spun in the first place. So I've just gained 2 places up into 4th. And the guy ahead, you can see the black car has just gone a little bit deep into there, lost the rear end, lost all kind of traction. So we've got a slow run into this next one. I try and take some kind of advantage of it, look for the cutback. But this really is not a corner you want to overtake into, especially in the rain coming through up here. So I just thought better of it, backed out, and luckily he just caught the sausage curb on the inside anyway, went a little bit wide. The guy in front in the white car went a little bit wide through there as well. So I've managed to gain back onto the rear end of him, as well as gaining the position into 3rd position. Onto the dizzy heights of the podium. I remember my nose started nearly bleeding at this point. Guy in 1st position at this point in the race now on the end of lap 2. So guy in 2nd going a little bit wide there on the exit. It just allows me to get better traction on the exit with a decent line out and just drive right past him. Looked in my rear view mirror, decided to not worry too much about going defensive, just take the racing line on the brakes, and there we go, the job done. No real defence from the guy behind, or no real attack from the guy behind to try and get it back. Hitting the sausage curb a little bit through there, but got away with it. But yeah, the guy in 1st now has got a nice little gap. He's got a 5.5 second gap now. I've got myself into 2nd. So proves tricky to catch this guy. But yeah, really enjoyed this. Really good challenge in these Ginettas. Good track and car combination this was for a really good challenging race. The car's constantly moving around, especially on the brakes as well. You're not really that settled on the brakes, especially if you really hammer it and go hard on the brakes. You've really got to put some steering into it as well and actually keep the car balanced and in control. So yeah, really tricky in the rain around Laguna. The corner I've just gone through there, one of the hardest corners, just no traction on the exit whatsoever, really difficult to get it turned into. You've got to turn it in really early and get the weight loaded up on the loaded tyres as early as possible and load it up as smoothly as possible. Yeah, coming around to complete lap 2 onto lap 3. Just trying to keep it neat and tidy really. Then you can see the car moving around a little bit here and there. A little bit of oversteer there, a little correction, not too bad. This corner's a bugger for the rear end dancing around on you. But yeah, I really enjoy it. I do prefer dry weather racing because you can really push it and be really quite aggressive, and that's what I kind of prefer if I'm honest. I really like being aggressive and attacking a track. But wet weather driving is enjoyable in its own way, and there's something about wet weather driving as well. It's not quite as simple as just like your braking point is your braking point. You kind of feel your way around every single lap. It gets a bit drier, it gets a bit wetter, it starts raining again, and all the rest of it. So you kind of learn in every single lap. You're thinking, could I brake a little bit later there? Was that good enough? Could I get a little bit more time out of a different line going through that corner? Is it worth trying? You know, and you're just asking yourself questions all the way through the race, just thinking, how do I keep this going, keep it fast and keep it consistent at the same time. You're just trying to pick out those little nuances all the time to try and improve and improve and improve. I managed to do that through this race as well. I actually managed to keep improving my lap times. I managed to get a better lap time than I managed in practice or qualifying during this race. I really improved and got my lines neater and neater, drove it neater and neater. Well, compared to my practice and qualifying sessions anyway. So in a minute we're going to speed it up a little bit, just cut down the length of this video a little bit. Not a lot happening on these next couple of laps, just some clean laps going in, but no big dramas. No one following us in front or behind at the moment. No one following us in front. I'm following the guy in front. He's got the gap up to 6.4 seconds now, so he's gained a second over me in the last lap or two. Here we go, boost our way through this next bit. I actually had a little moment on this lap, so it's going to slow down a minute. Slow down again in a minute. So, on lap 5, coming through this next section, I had a little bit of a drama. We'll watch it. Talk about how I minimised the mistake. Felt like I did quite well on this one for not making it as bad as it could have been. So here we go, into this corner. Just hit that sausage curb on the inside, completely unsettles the car, throws me out to the right hand side into the gravel, but just managed to keep it going in a bit of a straight line instead of trying to turn it or trying to react to it in a bit of a panic. I just kept it nice and gentle, kept it nice and calm, and just drove it back out in a straight line. So it didn't look like that much, but it was quite a big moment in this race. It could have really ruined my race, that. So I was happy that I dealt with it so calmly, and especially seeing as this game, you can really have a big moment on it. It's not. I always think Gran Turismo, well, which I played a lot, it's a bit different. You can catch things really quickly, but on this, you can get a big slide going. It's really difficult to recover from. So moments like that are crucial to actually control it as best you can. If you do make a mistake, make sure it's not a massive one, or you don't make it even worse by doing something else. So back in boost mode, covering a bit more of this race ultra quick. Let me know what you think of this kind of video. If you don't like it, let me know. If you like it, let me know. Just thinking, cut down the time. There wasn't a great deal of action after the first couple of laps, so I wanted to kind of show you my race, but without costing you like half an hour's worth of sitting there watching me just doing laps. And just try and talk through the interesting bits instead. So do let me know, please, with either a like or a dislike, or leave a comment whether you like this kind of style of video or not. Trying to keep it neat and tidy through all these laps. Ooh, nearly had a bit of a mistake there. Just managed to catch it before going too wide. I love this last corner. Coming out of that last corner, it feels so good. Even in the rain, it felt awesome. Coming out of the pits, which surprised me as it came round. There was no need for a pit stop in this race. At the moment, my fastest lap is a 1:38.475. We'll be slowing back down to normal speed to watch my fastest lap in a couple of minutes. guy behind me actually got really close on that last corner. He made it into my radar and I thought, bloody hell, how's he managed that? He must have gone really deep on the brakes or just been really strong into that last corner. But yeah, really closed up. Panicked me for a second as well because I was pretty sure he was a back marker. I thought, I don't want any trouble from a back marker trying to overtake me or trying to ram me from behind, getting it wrong on the brakes. It was a slight concern for a lap or two having that guy behind me, just because he closed up so much up into that last corner. Might see it again on this lap. Just see him there in the rear view mirror. But there you go, close is quite close, not anywhere near as close as last time though. On to lap 10 now. See the delta at the top left flashing green and red. Green being faster than my fastest lap in that particular time, and red being slower than my fastest lap at that particular time. That's why I keep seeing it flash green and red. So I'm slightly up on my fastest time at this point. I was really getting quite consistent during the race. It was tiny margins that got me into green. Anyway, at the end of this one, we are coming up onto my fastest lap, so we'll slow back down to normal speed and we'll watch that. And here we go.
Well done, mate. Personal fastest lap.
Making sure I don't go too late in T1. Taking a nice wide line this lap. Experimenting with different lines into there. It looks really slow, but good exit. Nice and straight on the exit to get the power down. Good traction. Tiptoeing through the apex for that one for a good exit again. Always looking to get turned in nice and early in this race, in this Ginetta. Turned out. It took me quite a long time to actually get to grips with how to drive this Ginetta because it really is slowing fast out kind of car, and you can see that even more in the wet. So at the moment, I must admit, watching this back, it looks like quite a slow, but this was my fastest lap. Just nice and neat and tidy so far. Not pushing it too hard on the brakes to give myself any issues. Go down into first gear to get the braking done, back up into second gear before I get back on the power to go down the corkscrew there. This is the hardest corner on the track, just trying to hook up some kind of apex with the understeer that you inevitably get through there. Carry as much speed on the exit there as possible. Down 3 gears into the last corner. And there we go, just neat and tidy really. Like I say, good traction on the exits because I kept it in a straight line. Scrubbed off the steering lock as early as possible. And there we go, it's a 1:38.0 in the end. So happy with that. That was a good lap. I'm currently green as well, so I know I could have gone faster, but I think that was as good as I managed. But back into boost mode. Ended up being 15 laps this race, so just go a couple more laps through and then we will finish it off. Yeah, really enjoyed the challenge, really enjoyed the competition because this RV Motorsport in front, really quick, really quick. Now got a 13 second lead over me, so just kept building that lead throughout the race, and really quite impressive how fast this pace was because I didn't really make that many mistakes. I made a few little errors here and there, but most of my laps were pretty consistent. So I was quite happy with my performance, but he still managed to pull a massive gap on me. So he was ultra quick in the wet. I don't know how he does in the dry. Pretty much all these guys are new to me. In fact, I've commentated on a couple of the guys, I think, but I've never actually raced against them. So all new guys that I'm racing against, all new competition. So I was really quite happy to find myself in second place in my first race. I did not expect it whatsoever either. It was more down to people's mistakes early on rather than my good driving though. I didn't really have to push for any dramatic overtakes. It was more someone made a bit of an issue for themselves in front and I took advantage of it. So anyway, coming towards the end now, we will go back into normal speed for the last lap and a half. Really crucial to get this corner right. Going slow just to make sure I get it right. Back on the power nice and early though if you go slow into it, so has its advantage having the control into that. Just concentrating on getting this one finished now. Don't want any mistakes. Got a nice gap to the guy behind. Not going to chase down the leader. So I've just got to keep my second place, keep it nice and calm, go around nice and calmly, controlled, and yeah, get the position I've worked hard to keep the whole race. Gone to the last lap now. Yeah, not trying to push it particularly, just trying to get it round nice and neatly again. Yeah, so enjoyable the way the car moves around on this game. The way the force feedback feels, it's my favourite game I think for the way the force feedback feels. This and Dirt Rally 2, the force feedback is awesome. Yeah, considering this was my rather nervous start into league racing, I think I had quite a good race. Went about as well as I could have possibly hoped, and the little bit of practice I did manage to get in before the race paid off because I did keep it quite consistent, and no doubt I would have struggled with that if I'd have just jumped in and not given myself much practice. So there we go, coming towards the finish line to finish this one up. Love the noises. The car reverberates and sound of the car reverberates between the two walls coming out of the last corner. Sounds absolutely awesome with your headphones on. There we go, we've finished. And there we go, there's the results in the end. So RV Motorsport winning. I was in second and I forgot, I missed the name and I don't know the name. Mamster in third there.